Today, I wanted to cover the topic of it'll never be enough. Not in the sense of not being grateful, but in the sense of outgrowing your environment, outgrowing your friend groups, um, even just like outgrowing your circumstance. Uh, Something that you see oftentimes is, or even a good example of this is, I have no good examples. I actually have terrible examples. You put a plant, you put a plant in a pot, you put a little seed in there, you water it, it grows. It gets to the point where it's been growing for so long that the pot can no longer contain the roots of the plant that you've even planted, of the seed that you've planted. And at that point, you got to get a new pot. What happens, you could say like, oh, well, I just leave it in the pot because maybe it'll stop growing. Maybe it'll just like, it'll overlap itself and then you don't got to worry about it anymore. But the issue there is that that's not how that works. The plant will literally grow to the point where if the roots are strong enough, if they're sturdy enough, they'll just break the pot. The little clay pot ends up breaking. And you can look at that analogy in the same sense of friend groups. When you outgrow your friends and you have different ideologies, different beliefs, different ways of thinking and different ways of life because of the fact that you've grown. And that can be even say that you wanted from point A to point B. You're not even at point C yet. But point C is like your real end goal. But between between A and C, you've already passed point B. And sometimes your friends are still at point A. And if you reach point B on your way to point C and your friends are at point A, you could see LOL. You could see how things may have changed. Like you guys are no longer the same. And at that moment, you've outgrown your friend group and you continue to stay in that. And I even, this isn't to sit there and say like, oh, well, just abandon your friends. But it's more so like, if you're, I think a better analogy for this is literally like if you're playing like 2K or something or any sports game, right? You could make a character that has 99 overall. That's like the closest thing to a perfect player. Like you make every shot, you catch every pass. Like, but the issue is if you get timed out, if they don't leave you in the game the entire time, you cannot carry your team. Your team will somehow lose in the fourth quarter when you get substituted. When you get substituted and then your team falls apart or you lose the game, at that point you've outgrown the team. At that point, I mean, and it could also be the case too that weren't even a part of that in the first place in terms of your skill or in terms of your mindset. You could have just been there because of circumstance. And that doesn't mean you belong there. Just because you are somewhere doesn't mean that's where you belong. But I feel like the biggest thing here, at least in regard to this, that I actually care about is when you do have goals set for yourself and you want to achieve certain things. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be related to music. It could be related to any sort of passion. But at the end of the day, you're going to continue to grow. I bought a camera so I could take pictures. And then I found out I wanted to be a photographer. And then I found out that people wanted higher quality. And when you find out people want higher quality, you look to invest in better gear. Or you build yourself and you learn how to take better shots with what you have. But in both scenarios, it's still the same thing. That you've outgrown the things that you've already had, and that it's time that you're ready for the next level. And sometimes that means sacrificing what you had before. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of get stuck. I think that's where a lot of people kind of find themselves sitting in the same circles, doing the same things, the same habits. That it's the same way. If you want to grow, you have to change yourself. It's like if you want things to change, you have to change. And maybe you have the luxury of being in a situation where you don't have to change. That's perfect, But then at that point, are you stagnating or are you just, I don't know. Like it really depends on the goals, but I'm going to assume that's not what you want. Your goal is more than that. Man, this is where's this one dude at, bruh? Why do I need one player? Anyways, I should have drunk more water before this or something. I should have hydrated. I should have been ready for this circumstance, but I wasn't. And I genuinely came on here thinking like, oh yeah, you know what? I got this in the bag. I know what I want to talk about today. But the reality is that it's not as easy as I thought it would be, at least in that term, because I'm not really a script writer. I'm trying. I got some scripts I'm working on, but that's even for myself. I want to do better videos, better content, better pizza, Papa John's. But literally, I can't even sit there and get a script written. Oh shit. That I feel like is good enough, or I wouldn't even say that's good enough. It's just not long enough. The script that I have written for my next video. But even even still, like the main reason we're here is genuinely just to talk about that concept of growth. I wish I had a story, but I don't have a story. I just have my life, like the things that I do. I genuinely like I try my best to be there for people and to kind of like maintain my friendships, but sometimes it's like even then it's like some friendships, some interactions and some attempts to be a part of people's lives leaves me feeling like, damn, what am I doing wrong? And sometimes it's not that I'm doing anything wrong. It's that I've genuinely just outgrown that circle. And that sometimes I'm just in a circle that doesn't understand my vision, or they don't see the value in the things that I see value in. And that becomes just a complete waste of time. uh, because then if you're somewhere where you're not valued, you always see yourself as not having the value of what you're really worth. And that's just not good, because if anything, that's like not watering the plant. That's like not putting it in good soil. You're not fertilizing it at all, because you're like allowing yourself to just be embalmed in things that don't serve you, in habits that don't serve you, people and being in places that just aren't doing you any justice, when you could be out here chasing your dreams or pursuing something that you actually cared about. But instead, you're sitting here fucking suffering. For what? For why? For the opinions of people that maybe cared when you were in middle school, maybe cared when you were in high school. But they don't care anymore. Everybody has their own lives going on. They have their own ambitions, their own goals. And sometimes like that might not align with you, bro. Not everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Not everybody wants to be fucking a content creator, or they don't want to make music. They don't want to dance. But I've literally created a circle for myself that does love those things, because I love those things. And I just want to be able to exist in that sphere of the things that I love doing. But even in that same sense, that same circle, it's like I've learned that I have to distance myself, and I need to be selective with the people in that circle that are, because for the same reason. Not everybody has they're your best interest in mind. And that's a big downside of it all, is that if you are the type of person who's like, I guess, like, I don't know, like that you attract people, or that you exist in a world where you do have a lot of positive interactions with individuals, or at least it's perceivably positive. Like, not people don't always sit there and put on their best or their real face. They put on what makes sense in that moment sometimes, because at the end of the day, self-preservation is like the go-to for humans. Like, we're trying to fit into these circles that we're in, and that is sometimes by by any means. I mean, peer pressure is a real thing. And if you're sitting here trying to grow and trying to be something or do something that, I guess, for like, I wouldn't even say lack of a better term, like if you're just trying to do anything, um just being surrounded by people that actually have those same passions, that value the things that you value, is so important. And I guess that leads me to like another analogy with, like, you say, like, even like Minecraft. You can gather fucking dirt with a shovel, right? But you're not digging through like iron or like fucking any sort of like metal. You're not digging through any metal with a wooden shovel. So you have to upgrade your shovel. The same way you have to upgrade your friends. The same way you have to upgrade your life, the people around you, the world that you exist in, that circle, your habits. That all has to change. And at the end of the day, it's not that you're not happy or that what you have isn't enough. It's just that the person that you are and the person that you are becoming require you to, well, to be synchronous. I don't know what the word is, but you have to be in sync, wholly, not just with the way that you, yeah, you just need to be, you just need to be in sync, bro. Like, I don't really know how to put that besides as you grow, not being ashamed of the fact that you have to change your environment, the people that you're around, your habits. You have to change yourself and be understanding of the fact that you are still the same person that you were before. It's just that you have more that you want now because you now have access to more. That doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't even make any sense. Fuck. I really think it's because I've just been spinning in circles. Like I just made myself dizzy. Every level demands a larger version of you. And sometimes the floor or the ceiling of whatever you're doing becomes the floor of the next level. Where you're at right now is just the beginning of a journey. And sometimes you're in the middle of your journey. And when you think your journey is over, you realize that there's more to accomplish because you're now more capable. Of course, that is how it goes. That's so crazy. That's like oh my gosh, bro, this is miserable. This is miserable. I should have just did this offline. But the person that as you grow, you just require more, bro. You eat a lot, you get big, and guess what, bro? You have to eat more. Like people will say, "Oh, it's like going to the gym. It's like, oh, you just gotta get your calorie intake, bro. And your calorie intake goes from 2,000, and then you gain 10 pounds, and then now your calorie intake needs to be 3,000. And it's like, how is this even possible? But I read something, or I heard something recently in a book that I was reading, and it was by Alex Hermosi, and he said that there's no real such thing as maintenance because if you're not growing, you're dying. And I genuinely agree with that in the sense that if you have a business and the stock market is going up 9% every year and your business isn't increasing in value by 9% every year, you're literally falling behind, like you're literally dying um in comparison to what the market is. And then when I think about that to myself, like maybe this is like just completely wrong math, but I'm thinking like at that point, like you should be investing whatever you're investing in your business into the stock market. But then that defeats the point of you having the business. So it's just like you have to be willing to grow and to continue to grow and for it to be something that, just like a rocket, when rockets take off, they drop all the extra weight so they can carry on with the mission. And if you can't drop the extra weight to carry on with the mission, you will never make it out of the stratosphere. You will never make it out of your situation or your circumstance if you're not willing to drop the weight. And I feel like that's probably one of the best analogies in regard to that. It's like the reason why they tell you not to help somebody who's like drowning if they're panicking, that you have to first get them to calm down. Because if they're panicking, they're going to pull you down. And you can just imagine it that way in everything. If if you're trying to learn, if you're trying to run a mile or run well, I don't even know, bro. That's a terrible one too because I was going to say if you're trying to run a mile and trying to increase your times, you should probably quit smoking because smoking is making it harder for you. But you have to be willing to say, hey, do I care about smoking more than I care about getting my mile time down? But then I've seen people run miles that are just like run faster than me, literally, and they smoke more than me, like tobacco. Or that was when I was in the Marine Corps. So it was like I was like, bro, that shit's actually insane. And that just shows what like the human body's capable of. But still, still, for the sake of the point, for the sake of the plot, you just gotta let it be, bro. You just gotta let go of some things and just allow yourself to grow. Give yourself the room to grow. Stop being afraid of moving from one pot to a bigger pot, bro. Because people will make you feel bad for growth. People will make you feel bad for changing. But the reality is that if you don't change, you'll literally be the same forever. If you're thinking like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that, and you're like, oh, well, worst case scenario, like, I fail. No, bruh. Worst case scenario, you don't try. And then you sit here and then you're disappointed because you could have done XYZ. All this time has passed. You could have been this person. But now you've degraded into a person who's bitter about the fact that you didn't grow into the person that you wanted to be. And I feel like that doesn't have to be the way it is. But I feel like when you have passions and you just let go of them, I mean, that's just who you become. And that's not going to be the same for everybody. Like some people, they're just comfortable in the life that they have. And sure, that might be great. But for those of us out there that genuinely want to grow and genuinely want to become better versions of ourselves and want to see the world, I don't even know, bro. I started thinking about Disney songs, but those of us that literally want to grow and want to be better and have these dreams and aspirations of things that we're not currently, or maybe we are becoming those things, it's like we have to let go of that fear of growth and embrace it and understand that it's not the end of the world either to sit there and maybe you do try to grow and you try to get into a new pot and maybe that pot doesn't fit you. Well, guess what, bro? Welcome to the pot factory. You can sit there and change the pot that you're in as much as you want, and the only consequence is going to be, I don't know. Actually, that's there's a lot of variables there. There could be some there could be some consequences, but you just got to be wise, have discernment, um, and I don't know. Just don't stop growing for the sake of, I don't know, the fear. There's no reason to be afraid of change. At the end of the day, you either change or you stay that same plant in that pot, and your pot explodes because your roots have grown too large. And now that your roots have grown too large, guess what, bruh? You've destroyed relationships. You've destroyed your circle, your environment. You've damaged all of it because of the person that you've become, because you've outgrown it. And that doesn't always mean like, oh, you turn into a monster of a person, but it can be, oh, your friends are like, oh, you've been acting different, all this other stuff. And now you feel self-conscious about that, and now you're masking for what? To make other people feel comfortable. And it's very unfortunate that that's even the case because, uh, man, it just sucks to think that there are people who are capable of such great things, and that the one thing that's stopping them from accomplishing those great things is literally the fear of like outgrowing or outpacing their their circles, their friends. I was literally just talking to a friend of mine he goes scuba diving, and scuba diving is like $300 a tank. That's like one dive. But if you're going for multiple days, bro, if I ask my friends, hey, let's go scuba diving, bro, they look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Because who's trying to spend $300 on a fucking tank for, like, say that we want to go scuba diving? I want to go scuba diving for 7 days. They're not trying to do that, bro. They're looking at me crazy, like, what the hell? But then guess what? If I love scuba diving, I'm literally gonna have to make new friends so that I can chase the passion that I have. And sometimes that sucks. It's like, damn, bro, I don't want to abandon my friends, but you don't have to abandon them. You don't even have to do that. But understanding that, hey, I'm not gonna sit here and continue to I guess put my friends in a situation where they have to say no, but I'm also not gonna put myself in a situation where I feel like nobody wants to hang out with me either. So I'm just gonna go and make new scuba diving friends or people that at least have the same values. It doesn't have to be scuba diving, bro. It could be anything. I don't even want to scuba dive. I'm afraid of the ocean, bro. I have like thalassophobia. Like, what's in there, bro? Like, there's like, it could be a Loch Ness monster, bro. Like the giant kraken trying to crack me, bro. Like I can't do it. So it's, I say all that literally just to say, like, satisfaction and stagnation are not the same thing. You can be, you can make progress and you can be satisfied with that growth. But don't be afraid of continuing, because the person that you have become requires more. And that's okay. Things will continue to change. You will continue to grow. And yeah, I don't know. That's it. To be honest, I've already been yapping, bro. I've been yapping in space, bro. This time it wasn't even entertaining space, bro. I'm like literally doing loops. I'm literally doing loops, bro. This shit is stupid. Nobody does this. I should have just did it offline. But like with this YouTube channel, I'm not there yet where I'm trying to really do take after take after take. I genuinely just want to get these thoughts out and just hopefully they make sense to somebody. Hopefully at some point you're like, yeah, this guy, I get the point, you can shut up, and then maybe you click off, maybe you go watch something else, but at least I got the thought out there. And at least maybe one person, bro, if just one person takes this video and is like, yeah, you know what, I am going to sit here and I'm going to pursue that thing, or I'm going to do XYZ because that's what I want to do, that's what's going to make me happy, and they grow and they let go of that fear of growth and that fear of I guess outgrowing their circles, all that jazz, whatever it is. Like, just don't be afraid to do better. Don't be afraid to be the one, because when the world needed him most, bro, the avatar disappeared. All right, you're the avatar. You gotta lock in, twin. You gotta just pick something, do something, make something of yourself, or don't. You know, whatever. I don't really care. If you don't want to do it, bro, I'm not gonna force you. I'm not gonna force you, bro. But just know that I do want to see you succeed. And the only way to do that sometimes requires you to change up who your circle is, or you got to get your circle to upgrade. That's the other point that I was trying to make earlier. You need to upgrade your circle. And that means getting your friends on the same page as you, or at least helping them along the way if you figure something out. Well, guys, that's literally it, bro. I've been yapping for 22 minutes, 39 seconds, 41 seconds. And this is, bro, I can't believe this shit. I've literally been, ah, that's so frustrating. I really wanted to do some Vandal Swarm, but, that just isn't what's happening today. So it is what it is. Maybe I need to make a friend that wants to do Vandal Swarm and go from there. But, yeah, today's yap session, my bad. I don't even know why I'm apologizing. You know what, bro? Today's yap session was great, and we're gonna keep trying. We're gonna keep going, and the next video will be better. And that's my promise to you, is that I will always try. I will always try to make the content better, and I will. I don't have any. What the hell? I don't know. It's just, that's just it. That's just it, bro. Go out, grow, and don't be afraid to change your pot, because your plant needs space. You need room to breathe. The version of you that you are today and the version that you will be tomorrow will need different things. And once you achieve that goal being achieved is just the beginning. And after that, set new goals. Keep going. Why stop? That's the world we live in. Anyhow, have a good rest of your day.